welcome everybody to 5 to Thrive. And you know what, I have been so excited about doing this new series because I believe this is just my way of sharing. You know, sharing is caring. And I want to share a series of my top 5 of things. So over the coming few weeks, you'll see the episodes appearing. And the best thing to do is obviously subscribe. I would love that. But make sure that you press the bell, because the bell means you will get notifications of every new video. So we're going to kick it off with my top 5 words of wisdom. And the thought behind this is very much about me sharing the people that I like to follow, the people that have really truly inspired me. And I'm absolutely sure that you will know some of these, but I'm hoping that there might even be a couple that you haven't seen before that you may now start to follow. They are truly inspirational people, and all of their messages help us as individuals to thrive in our businesses. I really hope you love this collection, and don't forget to listen right to the end so you can see who is my number 1. So my number 5 is a lady called Mel Robbins, and again, you may have heard of her, but I found out about Mel when I read her book, The 5-Second Rule. So this book I just thought was so good. It was where she talks about our lives being a series of micro moments, and really she's all about taking action. The book I found meant that a lot of the situations I came into, all of a sudden, I just reframed them. I counted back 5 down to 0, and suddenly I was doing things and taking action on things that I would so easily have not done. So she's quite inspirational. I subscribe to her newsletter, and now I find that her content just gives me those small snippets that make a big difference. My post on social media only last week was all about personal growth based on an email that I had got from her, and one sentence just stood out for me, and that was this: you grow through what you go through. And I am all about learning from the mistakes you make. I talk about I am built from all of the mistakes I have ever made. She's really great. This next small clip that I've put in the video just talks a little bit about confidence, and it demonstrates, I believe, why she is so good at what she does. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm going to be very vulnerable. I've always been very scared and lack of confidence, and thought that I was never good enough, like some of my partners.
Hold on. Who can relate to that? Struggling with lack of confidence, not good enough. All the research around confidence points to something. We've all bought into a lie. We've bought into a lie that confidence is belief in self. And so when you're in a situation which is normal, where you don't believe in yourself, you're like, oh my God, I have no confidence. The truth is, and I want you to walk out of here with a new definition of confidence. Confidence is the willingness to try. Because when you try and you take action, what happens, and what's happened for France, is that when she sees herself taking action, what happens is she sees herself being the kind of person that takes action. So she has evidence that she can rely on herself, and that action is what builds confidence. It doesn't start with belief. The real way for most of us is not to wait to believe, but to push ourselves to act, and through the action you will build the belief.
So my number 4 is Simon Woodruff. So some of you may know who he is, but he was the founder of Yo Sushi. That's what he's very well known for. I remember him, of course, from the very first series of Dragon's Den, because he was an original dragon. And this year I spoke at an event in Brighton and was so excited to be on the same stage as him speaking. I met him, we chatted. He was just such a lovely, down-to-earth man, even though I was a little bit starstruck. But the point about Simon for me is the reason he's so inspirational is he is really, really down to earth. He's very authentic. He says it as it is. You know, his story is that by the time he was 20, he wanted to be a millionaire, and then he's coming up to 30 and he still wants to be a millionaire, and then 40 and he still wants to be a millionaire. And then he had this absolute moment of genius where he invented and developed Yo Sushi in the UK, and it was the making of him. But he's very real, and I really like that about him. This clip just gives you a real taste of who he truly is. He's a real human being. So I think follow him if you want to get real, authentic content about being an entrepreneur with a little bit of eccentricity, which is what makes him really special. I hope you enjoy. My number 4 choice, Simon Woodruff.
I met somebody on an island that I was out sailing, and they had a kid who had really gone off the rails, smoked too much marijuana, managed to sort of stop doing that, but just felt no hope in his life. We had a bit of a talk, and I said, well, I think get up and go and do something. Oh, but I don't know what to do. I said, look, out in your street, there's a load of rubbish on the ground. Go and take a plastic bag and go and tidy it up every day. And when people say, what are you doing? You say, I'm keeping our street clean. And just that change in attitude of doing one very, very simple thing can change lots of other things as one climbs out of the hole.
Just love Simon. And now another Simon, my number 3, Simon Sinek. And you know what, a lot of people know this guy, and I discovered him a couple of years ago, and found myself watching his TED Talk about the Golden Circle. And for me, what happened with him, Simon, was that he confirmed everything that I knew to be true about sales. So I knew sales was about the why. I knew sales was about connection, human conversation, empathy, nurturing, everything human. And everything Simon Sinek talks about is all about human connection. He talks about leadership, he talks about empathy, and in this very short clip, he does talk a little bit about empathy, which is really one of my favourite words and my favourite things. And I believe that's how we truly connect as humans. So have a listen. I'm sure you'll actually know of Simon Sinek, but if you don't, follow him. And if you do, follow him some more. He says some really, really great things. Here's over to Simon.
So why is it that when somebody has performance problems at work, why is it that our instinct is to say, you're out? We do not practice empathy. What does empathy look like? Here's the lack of empathy. This is normal in our business world. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into our office and says, your numbers have been down for the 3rd quarter in a row. You have to pick up your numbers, otherwise I can't guarantee what the future will look like. How inspired do you think that person is to come to work the next day? Here's what empathy looks like. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into your office and says, your numbers are down for the 3rd quarter in a row. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? We all have performance issues. Maybe someone's kid is sick. Maybe they're having problems in their marriage. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And of course it will affect performance at work. Empathy is being concerned about the human being, not just their output.
So to my number 2, this is the amazing Brene Brown. And again, I'm absolutely sure that some of you will have heard of this lady, but you may not necessarily follow her, and she is just wonderful. She's funny, she's engaging, but she really brings home some very poignant points about how we behave as humans. She studies human connection, so what better person to be in my top 5, because you know that I am all about human connection. She talks about our ability to empathize and to belong and to love, and she also talks about the power of vulnerability, because this is really important for us to show that side of us so that we are real and authentic. She also does many, many other talks. She's written books. She talks about blame. She talks about shame. She talks about courage. I watched a very short 4-minute video all about blame that she did. And I tell you what, it completely changed how I position things now when I'm looking at when things go wrong, actually how pointless blame truly is. So if you want to be inspired, if you want to actually learn to thrive as a human, This lady is definitely going to make changes for you and for your life. I really hope you enjoy this. It's just a really, really short clip of what she is all about. Brene Brown.
I think we're going to have some fun, talk about some hard stuff, laugh a little bit, and hopefully learn something from each other. How many of you know that I'm super introverted? It's handy when I'm traveling because I'll be sitting next to someone and they'll say, so what do you do? And if I'm not in the mood to chat, I'll be like, I study shame, what do you do? They're just like, nah. How many of you want more love, intimacy, joy? True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. You don't measure vulnerability by the amount of disclosure. Live tweeting your bikini wax, not vulnerability. I'm not gonna bullshit you. Vulnerability is hard, and it's scary, and it feels dangerous. But it's not as hard, scary, or dangerous as getting to the end of our lives and having to ask ourselves, what if I would have shown up?
So countdown to my number one, and this really is my number one, and this guy is called Jeff Ram. Now, I have been teased because I'm apparently been labelled a Ramette. I'm not sure how many there are in the world. I may be the only one, but I don't want Jeff to get worried if he watches this, because I promise I am not stalking you, Jeff. But I want everyone to listen to Jeff's work, because he really is the ultimate in speaking. He really knows how to hold a stage. He knows how to tell a story. He's all about storytelling, and he talks about celebrity service. That's his thing. This clip will help you to just have a taste of how he talks when he's on stage. And I promise you, whether it's you're listening for 3 minutes, for 20 minutes, or for an hour, you cannot stop listening to this guy, because he completely engages you with storytelling. In sales, one of my biggest things I teach is about stories. It's critical that we learn how to tell great stories, because that's how we connect as humans. This man is my number one, because he knows how to tell a story. And just to add to that, when he does tell a story, you feel like you've experienced that story with him. Watch him and just see how you feel when you've listened to him tell you his story. And in order for you to thrive as a business, I absolutely guarantee that this man will help you to think about your customer service. Over to you, Jeff.
There's nothing new in customer service until now. My opening line said this: do you treat all your customers the same? Do you treat everybody with the same high level of service each and every day, no matter who they are, no matter what day of the week? Around about half of the room started to nod, apart from one woman. She shouted out. She said, absolutely, Jeff, because you could see the passion in her eyes. Give me examples of this high level of service. And she said, well, in the front of the store, we've got leather 2-seater settees. People can sit down, they can read the brochure, they can have a look at some of the products that we've done before. They can really relax. I said, oh, fantastic, that's great. What would happen if a celebrity were to come into your business tomorrow? Think of 2 A-list celebrity Hollywood movie hunks. She thought for a second and she shouted out 2 names, George and Brad. I said, picture the scene. George Clooney's been making a movie here for the last 6 months. He wants to come to your shop tomorrow. He wants to buy from you. So he picks up the phone. If I come in tomorrow morning, would you close the shop for me? I said, would you close the shop for George? Would you close the shop for me? She put her hand up to her mouth. She went, I said, what's the matter? She said, I would treat people differently. I said, of course you would. You would, you would, you would, I would, you would. We all would. But the next question changed everything. What else would you do for George tomorrow morning? She came up with 6 answers in 30 seconds. The first one is she said, oh, I'll get my hair done. I said, anything else? She said, yeah, I'll wear my best dress. I said, fantastic. Straight away, ladies and gentlemen, her image has changed. It's been upgraded. I said, anything else? She said, yeah. She says, we've got this wonderful oak floor. It's needed varnishing for the last 6 months. I would varnish it tonight. Billy Connolly's greatest ever line. The Queen thinks the world smells of paint. Within 30 seconds, she was different, her business looks different, and she was providing a greater service. Celebrity service. If that email was a celebrity, if that phone call was a celebrity, if that next walk-in was a celebrity, what would the service look like? Consistency, excitement, love, engagement, bravado, response, independence, thank you and your team. If a celebrity were to walk in tomorrow, your service goes to there. Do me one favor. Do yourself one favor. With that gap, fill it.
So there you have my top 5 words of wisdom. My top 5 people that I recommend you follow if you're not following them already. They will inspire you for sure. And in order to thrive in our businesses, we don't only have to work on our business, we have to work on ourselves too. And these guys, I just think they keep you going, all of them. So I hope you've enjoyed my first episode of 5 to Thrive. And next week, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Audible additions. So I'm going to tell you my top 5 podcasts that I love to listen to and that I think you may love too. Please make sure you've subscribed to the channel. I really hope you enjoy my content and press the bell to make sure you get your notifications of all the new videos that I publish. But for now, it only remains for me to say ta-da for now.